Hello guys, and welcome back to Strategic Command World War II War in Europe. I have been in and out of the hospital since the last time I recorded an episode, so excuse me if I forget what the heck is going on. I did go ahead just now and I moved the British fleet. We do have some stragglers in the back, the Amazon Destroyer, the Glasgow Light Cruiser, slightly these right here, Heavy Cruiser, Destroyer, but the main bulk of it is heading down and around Portugal. It is getting to, well, the Gibraltar, let's say. This region is where it's going. It's not going directly into the Mediterranean just yet. It's just kind of getting nearby, base out of the region, be in supply, because we know Italy will end up joining the war. They're already 79% mobilized. Given how long it's been, I'm sure the German attack will be coming any moment, so Netherlands and Belgium are certainly going to fall. There's no doubt about it. I only hope. My preparations have been good. We recently transported from Africa, I recall, from Tunis here. Let me move this garrison onto Tunis. A corps prioritizing the mainland, getting a corps over here to Marseille, allowing me more of a defense against the Italians. It is insignificant, certainly insignificant, but it is what it is. The Alps army is good to be moved further northwest, because as we know, we have the corps and everything here at the Maginot. We're going to go ahead and force march that into the nearby fortifications over here by the border. Hopefully, this fortification finishes building fast enough. Hopefully, because it says June 4th. If it's not done, then, well, you know what? It's not done. It is what it is, but hopefully it finishes. There's some Frenchy ships that are chilling. We're going to go ahead and move those up hither. Up hither. We'll move you, this destroyer Jaguar, up there, and the battleship, the Dunkirk, is going to go into port. We actually have 2 ports available. Well, we're only going to use 1. That's fine. I think that is all the Frenchy ships that are newly acquired now into position. Yes, sir. We're going to get Lord Gort over to Chalons to back up his infantry force. And I do remember purchasing that artillery to support the front. One reason I didn't mention that I went for the artillery was just because it's got a pretty balanced production. So in 4 turns, I expect I'll have an idea of how quickly France is going to fall and where it can go. Whereas I was considering purchasing fighters instead, because we'll definitely need fighters, especially for the Battle of France, right? But 7 turns, I might be paying for something that we simply wouldn't need. Because as of right now, I mean, we don't have any more fighters. There are more coming already. August of 40, which is not that far away. I assume these are fighters. These look notably different to these. One of these are going to be fighters. May. Which one's the fighters? It looks like it's the second one. It looks like this is the fighters. I'm assuming the other one's like tactical, no? Medium. Maritime? I have no idea what the other ones are, if I'm being completely honest. I think it might be different levels of upgrades. It would be nice if I could just get the information instead of the picture, like hover over and get a tooltip, but I think these are basically both fighters. I don't know if that's correct. But if we're getting more fighters, at least one, we're good. We'll have enough to hopefully protect the homeland, and then maybe more later. So I was considering that, but I didn't do it. We do have 297 MPPs as the UK to spend. That is a lot. For now, I will recruit the final heavy artillery that we can recruit within the unit limits of the game. Get it fully upgraded as far as we can get it. The artillery research will be done at some point, with the idea that at the very least these can both be split between Greece and Egypt. Not being optimistic about France, because obviously France is severely outmatched and outmoneyed. France has some MPPs to spend, and I think I'll spend them down on this Polish First Corps that will be joining them in the futile fight. It really probably is a futile fight. I expect Netherlands and Belgium will fall quite handedly, probably within the first turn of invasion, Belgium for sure, right? There's not a whole lot else to do. We do have our front line of units. We got the Egyptian that's on the capital over there. We can move, I think, this way, right? All right, nothing crazy at the moment. We can get you headed towards... Gosh, do they have any major ports at all? I'm looking like, if we wanted to get a Canadian destroyer up to max, how do you accomplish that? You don't. Not until America joins. You'd have to send it up to the Brits. Well, okay. Let's go link up then, because they have to head that way anyway to get a full fixer-upper anyway. Meanwhile, we can get the... I guess you could just go as far down as you want. The Polish destroyer heading on that line, because it is also going to defend. Looks like I missed a UK destroyer as well. Well, we'll probably go ahead and move that down. Can Canada make any more destroyers? No, it cannot. Maybe I should leave one actual UK destroyer over here for this fight. They could always be repurposed, sent elsewhere, you know? That could always be accomplished, so I'm not too concerned. We'll just send it down here for now. There's only been one enemy submarine so far. As the problem worsens, we'll allocate more resources to the problem. I'll stick Huntziger here down on Paris. He can build up the local entrenchment or something. He's got some reinforcement to do. I think I floated the idea of sending him east, but no, I'll leave him over here. Even with him here, like, this is kind of necessary for the amount of units we have here if we want optimal bonuses, which need everything you can get to make this last as long as possible, huh? I've gone ahead and named the BEF 1st and 2nd Corps. I accidentally named them the Corps, so they were the Corps. So these are just going to permanently be here now, because renaming counts as killing a unit in terms of names immediately and infinitely puts it on the roster, as we know. But with all being said and done, let's go ahead and hit end turn, and we can see the German occupation of Denmark presents us with a problem. As if the Germans are given the opportunity to use Iceland as a naval base, this is weird to read, then our convoys could become extremely vulnerable to attack. It's therefore strongly recommended that we send an expedition to Iceland to prevent its use by the enemy. This mission, codenamed Operation Fork, will cost 25 MPPs. It will not consist of any significant troop numbers, as only a small number of Royal Marines are available. So while this expedition could not prevent a properly organized enemy invasion, it will be insufficient strength to secure the island. Would you like to order the occupation of Iceland? Saying yes will place Iceland under our control, though with no troops on it. Reykjavik could then be put to good use as an air and naval base to assist us in the Battle of the Atlantic, and in January 1942, we will have the opportunity to deploy a unit of maritime bombers here. So that's good. We already know what this is. We're going to go ahead and accept it. 25 MPPs to get a island is great. So thank you very much. We have that now. Engineers in the Soviets have completed a fortress by Orsha. American Congress passes the cash and carry bill enabling the export of arms to the UK. German security forces finally track down and defeat Polish resistance group led by Hubal. I don't know anything about that. Scientists report, we got advanced fighters for the Soviets. Hey. Okay, cool. Nice MPPs coming in. And let's see what the Axis do. Certainly, they are moving units from east to west, if they're not already done, I suppose. If there was going to be a war declaration this turn, I think it would have happened already. Yeah, we could see them appearing on the west. British national morale boosted by having Winston Churchill as Prime Minister. Germany amends its Norwegian convoy routes to protect its ore supplies. That's right, because they took that stuff over. We occupied Iceland. Iceland joins the Allies. It's not worth very much. Even today, it doesn't do very much. And that was that whole turn. Okay. Cool. So we do get new fighters over here at Birmingham. We'll go ahead and just deploy them right there, I suppose. Sure. And whoo, baby, heavy tanks. Not just tanks, baby. Heavy tanks. That's crazy because you can't even purchase heavy tanks in this game until later in the game. Yeah, 1944 for the UK. What about Russia? Oh, they could purchase them right now. America, not till 1944. But France gets one right now. Heavy tanks. They could get even more if they wanted to, but hey, they have one, and it's upgraded. It's actually upgraded with advanced tanks. Well, that's probably the single most useful unit that we own. We're going to have to get that up to snuff. Thankfully, they did not invade yet. That will give us time to get this built, hopefully, right? Hopefully in time, fingers crossed. We'll take the Polish Corps and move that east towards Verdun, the Ardennes area. We'll probably need a little bit more support, I imagine, so have that headed eastwards. The British fleet is now clogging up the strait here, the Gibraltar Strait. Every one of the ships that was en route has been moved, which is good. Don't think I'm missing any. I don't think so. No, sir. Oh! Wait, was this already active? Wait, huh. I think it was. Maybe it was. I have no idea. Guys, was this convoy route already active? I swear to God it wasn't. I swear to gosh, it was not. Convoy map, America. I don't think it was. Well, I guess they mobilized enough just now to go ahead and send MPPs. I'll send 15%, which right now, the difference between 10 and 15% is a measly 4 MPPs because they're only 26% mobilized, which is not a lot. But that's pretty good as far as things go. There's no India this time, man. That's so confusing. It's so confusing coming from playing World at War first. So this is not worth a lot right now. Not having this now won't really hurt America. It can only help. And hopefully, you know, over time, it'll become worth more and more and more, and it will pay off. That means I have slightly more stuff to defend, but that is easily taken care of. See, look at that. Bam. And then do a little scouty scout this way. All right, we see that. Cool. Keep heading in that direction. And as for you, just head generally up along the line we know is safe as fast as possible so you can get to do some repairs and whatnot. Whereas these guys are just going to continue to scout, looking for any enemy submarines. Now, America has some MPPs to spend. We don't have to worry about Pearl Harbor this time, so anti-aircraft defense is not super important, not early on anyway. There's a lot of things that are important. One thing that can be important because it debuffs the enemy's research and buffs our own is spying and intelligence. And I think I want that. America's a pretty good nation to go ahead and grab that one on, so I'll go ahead and grab it. As for British MPPs, let me tell you, I don't trust something about this compared to World at War. We don't have any fighters in Egypt. It's not like extremely necessary. It would be nice. I believe you maybe start out with that in World at War. You don't have to build it. There's something here called the Desert Air Force, so I'm getting the hint that we're just not going to have it unless we build it, which is fine. And we'd need more anyway. I think Germany probably starts out with more air power than the UK and France combined, so defensively or offensively, more fighters will be needed eventually. Now that the heavy artillery is done, able to stick its nose in and support anywhere that becomes relevant anytime too soon, maybe investing in some more fighters would actually be a pretty good idea. I do like that idea myself, even if this is a fighter, which I believe that it is. Again, the amount of air power Germany has, right? Imagine we're splitting, potentially, our air power between the UK and Africa alone, right? Alone, and that's assuming that there's a Rommel that shows up in Africa. Assuming, right? I imagine the AI would do that. I don't know, man. Greece, potentially, right? Could use some as well. It really all just depends. I don't know how much this will go like the World at War went, but trying to think in all these different directions, more fighters will definitely be a boon. And if they end up sitting around doing nothing at any point, well, at least they're not losing us MPPs, right? UK gets a lot of MPPs, it feels like, at least comparatively to World at War. Maybe I'm just going crazy. We're going to go ahead and get the Desert Air Force with Advanced Fighters 1. Recruiting, it's going to have a delay of 7 months, so we won't see it for 8 months. That's a while away. Yeah. But at least it's getting built. And if this is a fighter, then cool, amazing. I'm pretty sure that's just an unupgraded fighter is what it is. I just don't trust it, and I just know that we'll probably need at least a little bit more anyway. Especially if Greece is successful. If it is, then we would need at least that one more. At least, right? Especially if Germany's going to overwhelm us. Yeah, you know, just that little bit more we're going to go ahead and get. For the Soviets, I'll get logistics researching. That's a pretty rounded, handy thing. I also noticed they have a unit I'm unfamiliar with called the Cavalry Corps. It's different than a normal cavalry division. This I'm familiar with from World at War. But the Cavalry Corps is essentially, looking at it, an army without the ability to uproot an enemy via de-entrenchment demoralization. Instead, it has more movement range and more ability to hit support units like artillery and rockets, it seems. It has a lower zone of control, it's like an actual core, and it's a soft target still, which is very interesting, which means it's actually easier to hurt, because you'd be using soft attack instead of hard attack. But still, that is pretty interesting. You can really just see in those stats how nerfed the Soviet infantry is by default compared to others. They're not very good at fighting hard targets at all, those corps. Oh, it's awful. It's so bad. Okay, well, I'm going to take the corps that's up at Archangels. We're going to operate it. Only 7 MPPs. Wow, that's really cheap. And we're going to get it down to Nikolaev, because I want to get this place a little better defended. Oh man, the Russian infantry is just so bad in this game at the beginning, and it takes them so much to fix it. And it's funny, because they have such an infantry focus. You know, I don't know, man, that shit's funny. I'm going to go ahead and upgrade this fighter. Let's just get this done now. 25 MPPs, go ahead. We do need to find somewhere for this NG to go. I think I was going to do like right here. Maybe it was going to be here. Well, we could do right here for now. There's really no harm. Set mode, fortify. Across the river is questionable, but functional. I think I'll go ahead and just say yes to that. This would be a easy line to hold. It's a question mark still on how this is even going to go, given that the Soviets are so mobilized due to the treaty here not being kept. France has some MPPs to spend. I'm really expecting this war to break out at any point. I thought it would have happened this turn. It didn't. It's probably going to happen soon, though. We're going to reinforce Hunziger because that's something we needed to do. He's at 8 now because his supply is still artificially limited, as you could see right there. 83 MPPs remaining. We could use that into upping the tactical bombers, but, you know, we'd have nothing left over then, and we know some hard times are ahead. What these bombers would even accomplish is really questionable. The same goes for the British ones, really. What we really need are fighters. It's not going to make or break the war if I reinforce this bomber. Sure, why not? It's not a completely void of logic idea. It's just, you know, not the smartest long-term thing I can have. But I try not to think too long-term with this nation anyway. You know, it's funny. Belgium, France, or the Netherlands, Luxembourg, all these things, when they join the war, will go to France, I've realized. Which is going to mean that their losses will lower French morale. Isn't that just fun? It's so weird not being able to really use diplomacy very much, but I guess it is what it is. I don't think we have very much to do, if anything. No, it doesn't seem like very much at all, except preparing for the inevitable. So let's go ahead and hit end turn and prepare for the inevitable. Sir Oswald Mosley is interned at the Emergency Powers Act comes into force. Don't know anything about that. Indie Tech 1 for the UK. That means more money. That's good. That's very, very good. Thank you for that. Alright. It's time. Germany declares war on the Netherlands. And Luxembourg. And Belgium. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I told you it was inevitable. Now let's watch them fall, because you know they're gonna. Massive bombing raids are gonna start here at the beginning. We have escorts flying the Brits right now. We lose one, we deal one. Dealing, I think, one to their bomber. I don't know. My game is frozen, so I couldn't see what the hell was happening. That army that was bombed definitely lost stuff. Escorts, looks like... Woo! We lost 2. They lost 2. They lost, I don't know, because it's just going to freeze every time this happens. Alright. I don't know. I don't think their bombing dealt very much damage that time. The Frenchy fighters are definitely flying now. Oh yeah, the Brit fighter took another damage as well. We took 2, we dealt 1. Every time a bomber flies, we're just not going to be able to see what's happening. I don't think you guys can see what's happening either. Sad face. Alright, well. At this point, no escorts can fly there. Wow, their bombers took 2 damage? Another 2 damage. Wow, that's good. Airplanes are hard to fix, man. Tanks going into Luxembourg, attacking. What the hell is going on here? Why is this happening, man? Enemy contact! And there goes a Belgian fighter. Luxembourg has already fallen. What the fuck, game? This is just a pain in the ass, if I would say so myself. World at War had similar problems, but it wasn't this frequent. Jesus Christ. Well, we can tell that they're marching into the Netherlands. And probably kicking absolute ass. We can't tell much else. They're definitely dealing damage. Yes. Woo! Whoa! Alright. Belgians are dying. That's what's currently happening. Brussels is under attack. This is crazy. The bugging, not the attack. The attack was expected. Okay. I hear more things running their way in. They got that Belgian corps to retreat. They are now populating the Ardennes. All that remains on this front is Brussels. They are pushing into the Netherlands. Woo! That's an elite paratrooper right there. The Netherlands army moved to Rotterdam and is dead. As is exactly expected. Woo! Big damage. We're taking big damage on that corps in the border of the Ardennes. Good thing I'm moving the Polish corps over there, but Jesus. The Hague is falling. Definitely. I'm surprised that tank must be out of attacks. Because Brussels is still up. They haven't stepped on the Hague yet either. Which I'm surprised by. They could easily take the country right now. Did they just don't have movement? The HQs are moving up. Well. Okay. Luxembourg surrenders. We saw that coming. Germany plunders 13 MPPs. Okay. French troops panic as the Maginot Line is outflanked. German forces capture Ibn Email. Don't know what that is. Not a clue. Alright, well, that didn't go exactly as I expected, but it went kind of as I expected. There are now tens of thousands of enthusiastic local defense volunteers preparing to sell their lives, I almost thought that said wives, dearly should the Germans invade. With an investment in training and equipment costing us 35 MPPs, we could turn the LDV into an efficient fighting force capable of taking a heavy toll of any Germans foolish enough to land. Winston Churchill has also suggested renaming them to the Home Guard. Would you like to transform the LDV into a home guard with better training and equipment? If you say yes, then the British national morale will increase by 1,000 points, and should the Home Guard ever deploy in the event of an invasion, they will deploy at strength 6 with 1 experience point. Whereas if you say no, should the UK be invaded, the local defense volunteer units will deploy at strength 5 with no experience. The difference between both options could certainly make all the difference should the Axis invade, so it's recommended to only say no if you are certain that an invasion won't take place. I mean, I am fairly certain, but 35 MPPs is 35 MPPs. That's absolutely nothing. So I'm just going to say yes. Though I must admit, this event is a lot easier to say yes to in World at War, where yes and no is the difference between getting them at all. So I'm going to go ahead and say yes. The formation of the Home Guard boosts British morale. Morale's great. Now would be a good time for us to increase our territory and income by annexing the Baltic states. One strategic benefit of doing so will be to increase the distance an invader would have to travel before reaching Leningrad. If you approve, our forces will advance into the Baltic states up to the border with Germany. Would you like to annex the Baltic states? If you say yes to occupying the Baltic states, then Soviet income will increase slightly, so it's recommended to say yes to this. However, if Lithuania is currently neutral, then it will also be occupied. Doing so will swing the USSR 7 to 10% towards the Axis, reducing any increase in income for a while. I see. Lithuania is indeed neutral. That's actually a really tough choice because the USSR is now up to 78% with those invasions by Germany. That's a lot. Losing that back down to 69% would kind of suck for income overall. It would potentially risk the Soviets entering the war kind of early, which can be a good or a bad thing depending on how you look at it. If they joined of their own accord, then we've already seen what happens. We don't get the debuff and we stand a better chance at the beginning. Yugoslavia then could potentially enter the war at a seemingly similar time and Germany just wouldn't be prepared. The AI would probably get confused. So I'd love to do this, but Lithuania is neutral. And one thing is just that with our lack of units, this is a lot more territory to defend. It's a lot more things the Germans would have to capture, whereas, honestly, I could just move these units south, take up defensive positions. That would be incredibly useful. If we had that narrower front, considering we're already at 80%, nearly 78%, I think I'm gonna just say no to the Baltics. I think that would actually be beneficial to me, given Germany's decision to not respect the deal here. I don't really know what consequences this will have in the long run, but I'm gonna say no. We're gonna leave the Baltic states alone, and hopefully that's a good idea. And hey, look, we have the illustrious carrier joining the fray. Let's go ahead and put that in London, where it can hopefully make some kind of a difference. That being said, we are out of time for this episode, so I'm going to call this one here. So for now, thank you guys very much for watching. It's great to be back, and I hope to see you on the next one.